you can find someone attractive and super hot and whatever without wanting to sleep with them. No need to fear, Auntie Dutchy is here. Are we rolling? 1, 2, 3. Hey fam, welcome back to my channel. It is your girl, Dutchy. The pits are sweaty, it's a bit warm today, but we're here and we're getting that bread. Getting it. So, as you probably read from the title, in today's video, I'm going to be trying my best to explain how to know whether you're a lesbian or bisexual. That is definitely my most received question. In fact, I receive that on the daily. Hey Dutchy, how do I know if I'm gay or I'm bi? Hey Dutchy, how do I know if I'm a bisexual or a lesbian? And it's really come to my attention that it is a topic that needs to be spoken about more and something that I need to cover more on my channel and open that sort of conversation for all of you. So that is what we're going to do. If you are new here, hi, my name is Dutchy. I create and upload LGBTQ+ content twice a week, and I would absolutely love for you to become part of the Dutchy fam too by hitting that big red subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss an upload. And yeah, without further ado, let's head on into this video on how to tell whether you are a lesbian or bisexual. So, chances are, if you are watching this video, you're probably one of two things. One, you're a little bit confused about your sexuality, you've got a few things going on, you're a little bit confused about a crush you may have on your best friend, and you'd like some clarification. Or two, you're a loyal subscriber, your notifications are on, and you're here watching my videos like you do every other video. Or option three, maybe both. Regardless of your situation, I would love for you to sit back, relax, and watch this video. I'm going to try my absolute hardest to make you feel a lot more relaxed and comfortable within your sexuality and everything that you're experiencing right now, your thoughts and feelings. No need to fear, Auntie Dutchy is here. Yeah, why does that have such a good ring to it? And I always like to preface my sexuality videos or sexuality content by saying that labels are optional. You actually never have to label yourself. If you never find a label that suits you perfectly or comfortably, that you're happy and yeah, comfortable with using, then you never have to. They're completely subjective, they're completely optional, they're there for those who want to use them. However, if you do want to, even if just for yourself, and you're really struggling with the thoughts and feelings and attraction or whatever you're experiencing at the moment, and then it's also perfectly okay and fine to want to find a label that suits you, that you can identify with. I also know that figuring out your sexuality can be super daunting and scary. Trust me, I've been there. But it's also super exciting discovering something new about yourself, a hidden part, something that's been locked away, and finally realizing and coming to terms with it. It's super exciting and not something to be afraid of. And I also wanted to remind you to go at your own pace. It is not a race. Everyone's journey is entirely different, so different, and things will always work themselves out. Okay, with all of that being said, let's talk attraction. Alright, so for argument's sake, let's just say, for example, you've been feeling some feels for your bestie, but you're confused. You're not really sure whether you like them as a person and really like their person, or you like them. You have a crush on them, some may say. This can be a really tough and confusing one to figure out. Like, honestly, that is the hardest thing. And I get that question too, like, how do I know if I have a crush on my best friend or whether I just really love them as a person? And that is a fine line, people. That is a fine line. Let me tell you, I understand that. And maybe you've always been attracted to the opposite sex or opposite gender for the longest time, until now. And you're kind of like wondering what that could mean for you, or what that even means. Are you maybe just gay? Or are you bisexual? Or are you something else? Who knows? Who knows at this point? I'm just going to go ahead and say this right now. Bisexuality is a valid sexuality for most people. Bisexuality is not a stepping stone or a phase. Please do not let anyone ever tell you to pick a side or tell you that you're really just a lesbian and you're confused, or you'd rather label yourself as a bisexual because it's just a phase, you're on the way to lesbian town, you know? Like, that's not it. None of that energy, thank you. All of those things mentioned are super harmful and not at all true in most cases. And yes, some lesbians do identify as bisexual, at some portion of their lives before figuring out their true identity, their true sexuality. And I'm going to touch on why that is shortly, why some lesbians or other members of the LGBTQ+ community may or may not identify as bisexual first for a while. I'm going to touch on why they do that and how harmful it can be, but I'm definitely not calling anyone out in this video because I do understand why, which we will talk about shortly. Bisexuality is real, bisexuality is valid. And I also want you to know that being bisexual, like, you don't have to meet a certain criteria to identify as it. You don't have to have a certain percentage or, you know, like amount that you like one person or the other or others. Like, there is no criteria that you need to tick off to validate your bisexuality. If you identify as bisexual and you are attracted to more than one gender, hey, bisexual is a valid term for you. Okay, now let's jump into society and stereotypes. Woo! So, many of you may or may not know this. Most of you are probably aware of this, but basically when a male comes out as bisexual, society often likes to palm that off as them just being homosexual and them using the term bisexual as a cover-up or as a bit of a safety net, a blanket. But they really are just gay. On the other hand, when women decide to identify with or come out as bisexual, we're often seen as heterosexual people that just like to kiss girls for attention or think kissing girls is hot so they do that for men, or okay, maybe they're not straight, maybe they're not hetero, but I mean they're gonna end up marrying a guy, so what does it matter? But it is strange, and I do find the discourse around bisexuality, men versus women coming out as the term and identifying with it as very strange, because when men say they're bi, society thinks they're just gay, and when women say they're bi, they don't believe it. No one believes you. Or they sexualize it into things like threesomes. Ooh, they'd be down for a threesome then, and like they use it to their advantage and find, like, sexualize you, which, yep. And obviously none of these are true for either men or women. Sure, I'm sure some guys do come out as bi and then later realize that they are actually a homosexual. Same with women. We're gonna talk about women who come out as bisexual and then later realize they're lesbian. But it does not mean that bisexuality is not real. It does not mean that bisexuality is not valid for most people. And it also doesn't mean that there aren't people out there validly identifying as bisexual as who they truly are and who they always have and always will be. Hello, it me. I've watched a lot of YouTubers, I've watched a lot of lesbian YouTubers, and I've heard a lot of lesbians say that identifying with the term lesbian can be scary, can be daunting, because it is absolute, okay? If you're a lesbian, you only like pussy, okay? You don't like anything else. You only like women. It's such an absolute term. It's as absolute as being a heterosexual. And especially for someone who is still questioning or recently coming to terms with their attraction for women, or has previously dated someone of the opposite sex or gender and been comfortable with that and thought that that was who they were attracted to, and then to discover that they are attracted to women or attracted to the same sex, I understand, yes, that is scary. It can be daunting or possibly misleading to oneself or other people about your attraction. Furthermore, is this an essay? But no, seriously, furthermore, families, I think, in my opinion, and from what I've heard and what I've seen, take the label of bisexuality a lot more lightly and a lot less seriously, which sucks and makes us feel super invalid. But I don't know, I think some families, some parents, some siblings, whatever, might be like, okay, she's bi. Okay, so she's bi, she's gonna end up with a male, she'll probably end up marrying a man anyway if she's still attracted to men. Like, and of course that also not true, also not a definite, but yeah, at the end of the day, people do often use bisexual as a softer term to identify with when coming out initially, and that does harm our identity and it does harm the bisexual community. But it's common, it happens, I understand why it happens, and there's not much we can do about it. And yeah, it's not the worst thing in the world. Something I really wanted to touch on as well is I think it's common for some lesbians to come out as bisexual first because they do still find some men or some people they surround themselves with attractive or hot or sexy or whatever. And I get that. But hey, here's a reminder, you are allowed to find people of the opposite sex attractive and still be a lesbian. And you can find someone attractive and super hot and whatever without wanting to sleep with them, without wanting to date them or meet their parents or, you know, get married and have children. It's possible, and it happens all the time, constantly. For argument's sake, let's say you're sitting there listening to this video and you do have a crush on your bestie, someone of the same gender as you. You want to kiss them, you want to hold hands with them, you want to take them on dates, you want to end up together, all of that stuff. But then let's say you're at school and you see someone of the opposite gender, like this new person starts, and you're like, damn, and you find them attractive. That doesn't necessarily mean you want to date them or have sexual relations with them. It simply means you can appreciate a good-looking individual and you have eyes. I feel as though bringing that point to the forefront of your mind may really help with figuring out your thoughts and feelings and concerns. Another thing that I think really helped me when I was figuring out my sexuality was really diving into your attraction and questioning whether or not you want to be with that person or whether or not you just find them attractive. Because I've definitely found people attractive in the past and been like, you know what, yep, I find you so attractive, but I wouldn't date you. I've definitely had that before, and it's just finding that distinction that can really help. It can be really hard. I can hear you saying that is like so hard to figure out, and I feel you, I hear you, I understand, I know it's hard, but I have full faith in you. You can do this, you've got this. I think the best thing we can do as humans, as friends, as family members, as whoever, is to believe someone when they say they're bisexual, to believe someone when they say they're lesbian, to believe someone when they say they're transgender. Whatever it is, whatever member of the LGBTQ+ community comes out to you, the best thing we can do is believe them. Because at that point, they are identifying with that. They are comfortable identifying with that, and they want you to know that they're identifying with that. So what you need to do is comfort them, be there for them, support them. That's the best we can do. Even if you think someone's actually a lesbian, even if you think someone's actually a homosexual, don't say that, never say that. That's on them, and that's their journey that they need to figure out, and they don't need you saying that to them. That's harmful in more ways than one. It's harmful because if someone comes out as bi and you tell them they're just a lesbian or they're just gay, not only is it invalidating sexuality as a valid sexuality, it's also not believing them, and they've just put trust in you to come out and tell you that, and then you've sort of just like rejected it and been like, no, you're not though. Like, so super harmful. If someone comes out to you, support them, be there for them on their journey. Another thing, it is okay to come out again. I've spoken about this multiple times, but it is okay. We understand. I understand as a bisexual. I know plenty of lesbians who have come out as bisexual and later come out as a lesbian, and although it can be harmful and it can be the reason why a lot of people think it's just a phase, it is the entire reason why people think it's just a phase. I understand. And I'm never going to hate on lesbians for that. I'm never going to hate on anyone who identifies as bisexual for a short amount or long amount of time until they come to terms with their true sexuality, because for me, coming out as bi was my true sexuality. I think bi is seen as the safe option that people jump to first. So there's nothing really in between straight and bi. But if there was, who's to say I wouldn't have gone there first, you know? Like, bisexual was the comfortable term for me when I started seeing women and being like, okay, and I'd never really dated anyone else or considered anyone else or been attracted to anyone else. But at the same time, it's not to say I wouldn't be. I've only dated cisgendered males and females. Perhaps I'm attracted to everyone. Perhaps I would date anyone. Maybe I'm more attracted to how a person makes me feel and their personality. Maybe I don't really care about their genitalia or whatever's going on there. I don't really know. But for now, bisexuality suits me. It is what feels most comfortable. And it's how I feel, and it is my attraction, and it is valid. So yeah, but I do want you to know that it's okay. If you've come out as bi and you're now scared because you've realized you're a lesbian and you're not sexually or romantically interested in men or anyone else and only women, then cool. It's okay to come out as that. Don't be afraid to come out as lesbian if that is your true identity. And of course there are other terms you can call. You can label yourself queer or sapphic. There are other terms that people use if they're not comfortable with that term. I know a lot of lesbian people who came out as lesbian and then later call themselves sapphic because they don't really like the term lesbian. Again, like any member of the LGBTQ+ community, the stereotypes around lesbianism, there's like negative stigma. It's yep, we all have it. We all get it. I hope that helped. If you're struggling with coming to terms whether you're bisexual or a lesbian, it can be a really, really hard one. I think just, yeah, really dig deep into that attraction. Remember that it is okay and perfectly normal to find, if you're a woman, to find other men attractive without actually wanting to date them or sleep with them. It happens. We have eyes. We're not blind. And there are some beautiful, beautiful specimens out in the world. Doesn't mean I want to sleep with all of them. I truly hope this video helped. If you have any other hints and tips that you would like to share with the Dutchy fam, please comment down below. I will be interacting with all of you in the comments. And yeah, don't let figuring out your sexuality ruin your teenage years or however old you are. Everything seriously works itself out. I know it feels like a super stressful time and you just want to know, but honestly, things will sort themselves out. You will know eventually. And yeah, when you do, it feels amazing. Make sure to give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Share this around with anyone that you think needs to see it or hear it or what have you. And yeah, I will see you all in my next one. Bye!